Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Starting Line. I'm your host, Sarah Allen. Minnesota held its first regulated gray wolf hunting and trapping season in November of 2012 after the animal was taken off of the federal endangered species list in late 2011. According to the Minnesota DNR, the state has an estimated 3,000 wolves. Some see the yearly hunt as a way to control the gray wolf population and protect livestock from the apex predator, but others view it as a threat to the gains the gray wolf population has made in the state. This week's Starting Line looks at a bill that would prohibit the baiting and trapping of wolves and also prohibit the taking of wild animals by snares. The bill would also increase penalties for violations related to wolves. We spoke to the bill's sponsor, Representative Peter Fisher, about House File 3196. We asked the DFLer from Maplewood why he thinks the bill is needed. Thank you, Representative Fisher, for letting us talk to you about your bill, House File 3196. How did this idea come about and how was it raised to your attention?
The big way it was raised is this has been something that a lot of the constituents in my district have been very concerned about. I've been hearing a lot of concerns, first of all, about the wolf hunt, and then on top of it, where the hunting is occurring, about the baiting and the trapping that's going on. They just felt it was very inhumane. I was hearing on it on a very regular basis, and so I was working on with some of the lobbyists who are working on this bill, and I mentioned to them that I've got a lot of my constituents that are concerned. They're asking me to do more, and so this is how the bill came up. So they said, well, here's a part that we need to have looked at and try to get the bill introduced and try to get it moved forward. And that's where it was coming from, people in my district asking for help and me finding an area that, okay, here's something that we can start trying to get a discussion going on.
Now, this bill doesn't ban, the regulated hunt that the DNR puts on.
That is correct. It doesn't do that, but it gets to a part of it where the hunting and trapping is going on, and that is where so many of the people mentioned to me is that they keep on thinking of the fact that it's not just the wolves that get into it, but sometimes of the other animals that get caught up in the traps or into the snares. We've seen issues in the past where people introduced bills trying to get the overall trapping changed because they were catching dogs in the process.
What are some of the arguments you're hearing against your bill?
I think the big part is that there is a segment of the population feels this is what they need to do to control the wolves out there and take care of it. And a lot of that seems to be more rooted in the basis that they just are concerned about the wolves at all, and it's almost not everybody in it, but a large portion seems to be there's a very strong hatred of the wolf, and it's not just killing a wolf, it's just putting it down with very little respect for its dignity. And I think that's what I've heard from that, underground. There are others who feel that are pushing back, who are more the sportsman type, who are saying this is just, I don't feel comfortable hunting them with a gun. I prefer trying to hunt them with a trap instead. And those people, I hear where they're coming from. I respect their position, but we respectfully agree to disagree on this. They feel that it's one of the things that they need to do to help protect their livestock and things in those areas, and I understand that. I think there's ways that we can have removal of wolves occur where we don't have to use some of these type of methods to address the problem.
What do you see as the challenges of getting your bill passed? I mean, I know we're towards the end of session now.
That's the problem. It's very dim prospects because I was not able to get a hearing on it in committee. Because we had such a short session, by the time we got the language and everything worked out, we were past first deadlines, and because of that, the committee that it went to, which is the Environmental Natural Resource Policy, had already finished for the year. It doesn't necessarily mean it's out of it. If something comes over in the Senate, we've got an opportunity, but at this point in time, it's really late. The odds are not very good. What I'm hoping more is this gets things set up for next year. And that's the thing, is sometimes on some of the bills, as we bring them forward like this, it allows us to start getting the discussions going so that when we get into next year, we've got a better chance of being able to get at least a hearing on it.
Let's track where House File 3196 is and has been in the legislative process. It had its introduction and first reading. It was referred to the House Environment and Natural Resources Policy Committee. And as we heard from Representative Fisher, we're really going to have to wait and see what's in store for this bill. You can learn more about these bills and others in our online news service, Session Daily. This nonpartisan news source employs a staff of professional writers, editors, and photographers that provide you with in-depth, nonpartisan coverage of the Minnesota House of Representatives. Make sure to subscribe to Session Daily to receive updates right to your email inbox. You can also watch live coverage of committee and floor action on House TV. Coming up next week, Starting Line will feature a new bill and look to see if there's been any movement on Representative Fisher's bill. Of course, you can always email me if there's a specific bill you'd like us to cover here on Starting Line. And remember, hundreds of bills get introduced every legislative session in Minnesota. All of them first have to cross the starting line.